name is Nicky Davis and I'm the Adult Services Officer at Kappa. Together with my colleague Kenny Nicky, we make up Adult Services Delivery Team. Welcome to the final Cleft Talk panel discussion for 2019, brought to you by Kappa's Adult Services project, proudly supported by the VTCT Foundation. Cleft Talk is your opportunity to learn more about topics that adults born for Cleft across the UK told us are important to them through the Adult Survey and Roadshow. We hope that you find these panel discussions both entertaining and informative. Remember that you can keep up with the Adult Services Project online, including watching this and other panel discussions, again at www.kappa.com/Adult Services Project. You can also join the conversation on Facebook at www.facebook.com/groups/Kappa Adults. Throughout this year, we've been bringing you information and experts on different topics. In this final programme of the year, we take a trip down memory lane and look back on the year that was some of our highlights, as well as some tips and tricks to get you through the festive season.
And Christmas is one of those times of year where it can feel like there's more pressure than normal to have everything together, particularly because it centres around family and romance. It's very easy to feel a bit isolated and that you're not good enough, which can hurt your sense of self-esteem. Back in the summertime, we asked our panel how we can build our self-esteem up in a world where it can be so easily torn down. Take a listen to this.
One thing that came up a lot in the adult survey was that people's self-esteem was low because they'd experienced negative interactions in the past. And we've spoken about some of them, bullying in school, being harassed in the public, perhaps even abuse from a romantic partner, sort of the whole gamut of different experiences were represented in those surveys, and generally across life, if you were to take, I think, the general population as well on this one. So my question for you both really is, how do you build your own sense of self back up again after you've had it pulled down, particularly by others?
Not easy, but I think, Joe and I have both spoken about kind of internal monologue that can take us over. I think a lot of it is learning how to challenge that. So when you start hearing these kind of negative voices, you kind of almost have to stop yourself. No, hang on a minute, and that's when you have the dialogue within yourself, saying, oh, actually, I'm okay. Stop there, stop right there. I'm okay. I have friends, I have family, I am loved. But also it's about learning, it probably sounds a bit cliche, but kind of learning to love yourself. That is not easy to do. Is what if you have been feeling really awful about yourself, I think sometimes it's hard to start talking about these issues. I think it can be very useful, for example, to write down how you're feeling as a start, those sorts of things. As we talked about, it's very easy to compare ourselves to others, so trying to think about, well, what's going on right for me right now, what's important in my life, what has meaning for me in my life, thinking about things that make you feel fulfilled and nurtured. We've talked about self-care, and I think that is a really important one. When you're trying to build yourself back up, those things like making sure you're getting enough sleep, that you're eating well, get out into nature as well, breathe in that air, see that there is a world out there. It can be very easy to become trapped within ourselves and trapped within this monologue and dialogue. Take a breath, get out there, experience, like just go for a walk in your local park, or meet up with a friend for a coffee, immerse yourself in a good book. Think about all these things that make yourself feel better, and always celebrate the wins. And I'm not talking about getting that promotion or, just that you had a really nice time with a friend at the cinema, just anything like that. Or you really enjoyed a family occasion, or you cooked a new recipe and it went really well. Just those little small steps. None of us can conquer Everest overnight, and it really does take a long time, I think, to almost retrain ourselves and start shift that monologue to really learn that you are a good person and that you are worthy of love.
Thanks very much to our panel there, Amanda Bates and Jen Rundle, in that what was our very first Cleft Talk.
Yeah.
And haven't we come a long way
I know.
since then? I mean, we've got our own microphones now for a start.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, Amanda's absolutely right. It's all about
Yeah.
celebrating those small wins in life and those acts of self-love as well.
Definitely.
I think, Nikki, what is it that you do when you're having a tough day?
I think when I'm having a tough day, I tend to probably, I like a good glass of bubbly. I think
Nothing
that's
wrong with
always
that.
good. Yeah, and I probably try to relax myself. So I probably maybe do something that I don't do that often, which is maybe run a bath, which I never have time to do. Just to really relax myself, and that's like a bit of me time as well. So really keeping that zone, and no one else can disturb me. And yeah, probably just sticking on a good film. Eating crappy food or having some chocolate, I think, with me, if I'm on a tough day.
Definitely, and well, we've all got our strategies. I think that's it, finding me time in this busy world is really
it's
hard
really
as well. It's
hard.
so important,
Yeah,
isn't it? I mean, I think for me, I certainly like to partake in the wine and the chocolate from time to time as well. And I think, sometimes just putting the music on as well,
Yeah.
finding a playlist that kind of matches my mood.
Yeah.
And putting that on and just kind of letting it all out, really.
Yeah. No, definitely.
But yeah, and I know that a lot of our community have told us that they do all sorts of different things when they're having a tough day. You go from exercising, meditation was a popular one for a
Yeah.
lot of people. And in fact, if you look on the adult services page, you'll see a link of things that people have told us that they do when they're having a tough day.
Yeah. If love actually has taught us anything, it's that one of the things that can happen around Christmas time is that people often use the season to take a chance and start a new relationship. Earlier in the year, we asked the team at the Centre for Appearance Research in Bristol on their tips on how to solve these difficult conversations.
And Heidi, I think one of the most frustrating things, of course, when we like somebody romantically is the not knowing how they feel and wondering what if. What advice would you give to someone in that situation and how to have that conversation?
I would reiterate that these are common concerns for people of all ages, irrespective if you have a condition that affects your appearance. But if you have had a bad experience in the past, or you're self-conscious about your appearance, that could be doubly, it could be worse. And those negative thoughts can dominate and influence the way you behave, and your reticence for experiencing rejection. So you don't want to put yourself forward. I would say that it would be helpful, before you go straight into that question of do you like me, to get to know somebody, to start slowly, build up experiences of spending time together. There's nothing wrong with flirting. It's a good way of using non-verbal skills to get some sense of whether somebody feels the same way that you do. So good eye contact, leaning in, facing forward. If that's reciprocated, then you could move forward to, maybe touching somebody gently on the arm. It's a very personal thing. Again, if somebody reciprocates, then there are indications that they like you, and you might move forward to asking somebody for a drink, or maybe to an event where you have something, a shared interest or something. And I think from that point on, communication skills are essential. So that's about sharing a little bit about yourself, learning about that other person, seeing where the shared interests, values, thoughts are, and then at that point you're getting some information back, and you're maybe in a position of confidence to ask whether you want to, the individual feels romantically inclined towards you, and then you're in a better position to get some information.
Certainly, and I think keeping in the back of your mind all the things we just mentioned about, if you're not getting that answer that you're hoping for, and to not kind of let it shape your future interactions with other people as well.
Absolutely. Rejection is always a possibility, and that's something that we all, risk whenever we're embarking on any sort of relationship. Someone might not like you in the same way that you like them, but I think the thing is not to ruminate on that, and to recognise that, that's the point where you go and seek out all those positive relationships when people are important to you, your significant others, your friends. Distract from that. Respond to it positively, graciously, because you don't want to, interfere with any potential relationships that you might gain through them. But, people don't always feel the same way that you do, but it doesn't mean that they don't like you or they're judging you based on your appearance.
I think sorry to interject, but I think coping with rejection is something that most of us have to learn, and it takes experience and a few knocks maybe to find your way of coping, and very often about identifying people you trust enough to speak to about how you've experienced the most recent rejection and how to cope with any future attempts to become closer to somebody, and how you deal with that if that didn't go very well. So I think that's something that we all have to learn, and it's it takes practice and confidence and knowing who you can trust and who you can speak to. I think that's very important.
Definitely, I think one of the things I've found over the years is that everybody you speak to will have a story of rejection of their own that they can share with you, and it is something that we all as humans have to go through, unfortunately, at some point in some scenario.
Yeah, part of life. Okay, so this question is to all of you. Sadly, one of the realities of life is that you can have that conversation and not get the answer you want. What strategies would you suggest for dealing with that disappointment? Whoever wants to go first with that one.
We've covered that one, haven't we? I think it's about accepting that might happen and responding graciously, and it can be tempting to be angry or disappointed and to reveal that, but respond positively, accept that somebody doesn't like you in the same way, but don't let that ruin your potential to be a friend with that individual, and again seek out the positive relationships in that short term, and don't ruminate too much, don't overthink, and try and find reasons why you've been rejected. It might just simply be that you're not suitable as a parent, rather than something to do with your parents or any other factor that's personal.
That one was really good, actually. I think what worked well with that one, because we had so many people in it, so there was a lot of they could bounce off each other really, really easily, and a lot of really good and relatable stuff was said that people deal with every single day, as in like rejection, and that's just a part of life. And I think it's quite good when people know that it is reality, as well, that it's not just them having to go through it, it is everyone else.
Definitely, and I think one of the nice things, because what people won't see is behind the scenes, we do a lot of planning for this.
Yeah.
And we've had some fairly in-depth conversations about some of the topics that we're going to be talking about, because obviously we, in order to bring you a panel discussion, we need to know a fair bit about it.
Yeah.
I think one of the things, that I learned a lot from you as we were going through this process is really just how much the general population and a lot of the things that I think I felt, you felt as well about things. I think that's been a really nice message to be able to convey, is that a lot of the things I think sometimes we think are so to do with Cleft are actually things that are just quite difficult in life generally.
People, definitely.
And that actually there's far more people out there you can talk to about it than you might think.
No, you never know what anyone's thinking as well. So you can think that outside they're all, dandy and they've got it all sorted, when really behind closed doors they could be dealing with another problem and a breakdown of a relationship, whether it's friendship or romantic relationship. You never really know. But everyone kind of deals with the same issues and every single day.
You're absolutely right, and I think often we're quite guilty as people of, we compare what we perceive as the worst of ourselves to the best in other people, which isn't a fair comparison.
No.
Because I think often, the things that you might, beat yourself up for, somebody else can find, someone who you look up to, will find things in you that they wish they were like as well. So I think, it's a strange, it can be a cruel old world.
Oh, definitely. So what do you do when you've got all the family around, everyone's getting a bit merry, and then all of a sudden maybe it's the booze, maybe it's the people spending too much time together, maybe it's someone else, but suddenly someone becomes a bit overwhelmed and Christmas Day can become quite an emotional day. How do you manage that situation, Kenny?
Yeah, well, no, it does happen, doesn't it? I mean, I think we can all think of Christmas days where things have not quite gone the way that we thought. I mean, I think, for me, particularly if it's me who's the one feeling overwhelmed, then removing myself from the situation, going for a walk, go down the park, go for a wander, do what you have to do. If it's other people as well, encouraging them perhaps to have a little bit of space. Christmas can be overwhelming.
Yeah, especially if you've got a big family, you're all in one room together, because if you don't spend that much time with them throughout the year, and then all of a sudden they all come in one big room, everyone's got in different stages of their life, and yeah, it can be definitely overwhelming and a bit like, oh God, what am I doing here? Made the wrong move here.
Definitely.
Type thing.
And, you know, I think it's a strange time of year because it's a time of year where people evaluate where they're at in life
yeah,
as well. And I think,
definitely.
you know, a lot of that goes on, and, you know, kind of like what we were saying before, you know, people all are going through struggles of their own behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And, you know, someone may feel that they're not quite where they hoped they would be this Christmas or whatever, and that can be a trigger for people. So I think it is, just about, and I guess, feeling okay to talk about that, you know, the fact that you're spending, the people who you're spending Christmas with, you know, one would hope that, you know, that they're good enough friends or family that you feel you can have those conversations with at least one person in that room. So I'd encourage that as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, and I'd probably say exactly the same. I think going out, getting a bit of fresh air, even if you're going out for 5 minutes, just getting a bit of you time to gather your thoughts up, and when you're ready to go back in and mingle with everyone else, then just take your time with it, really. And because it is quite a very long day, and even the run up to Christmas as well is all pretty crazy.
And don't feel like you have to be anything either. I think, you know, there's often an expectation of like how you should behave or be or feel at Christmas, and it's okay to not feel those things either. And that's all right too. You just got to do what works for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Really. Now, of course, one of the other things that often does happen at Christmas time, on those cold evenings where people have got a bit more time together away from the normal busyness and stresses of work, is that there is more time and opportunity to get close, and before you know it, one thing leads to another, and you're both standing underneath the mistletoe. As we know, you know, the movies are great at removing all the awkwardness and anxiety from that situation, but we know that some people are obviously quite worried about that first kiss moment. We spoke to Julia Cadogan earlier in the year about how to make those moments as magical as in the movies.
So some people have reported that the physical act of kissing can be difficult for them, not because they didn't want to or didn't enjoy it, but because their lip shape made it a bit more difficult than for some other people. As a result, some people worried that they may be a bad kisser, and so they tended to avoid it. What would you say to someone who's struggling with the physical act of kissing?
I think there's probably two strands. There's the kind of what we call functional reasons, where somebody might find it difficult. In other words, the physical reasons, and also maybe the psychological aspects of kissing as well. But of course, they blend together, don't they? We can't separate those two out, as we well know. I think what we need to make sure, first of all, is that there isn't a physiological reason for finding it difficult to kiss, because kissing obviously is a muscular activity, requires coordination and a degree of fullness of the lips, and sometimes people with cleft lip and or palate may want to have some lip revision, and that is what we do in our service quite regularly for those adults who maybe after many years their lips have thinned out and they're struggling with eating and things like that as a result. And for those types of individuals, we will definitely have a discussion about any physiological, surgical type of intervention that we can provide, as long as the psychologist is part of that process. And I have to emphasise that we don't see surgery as a panacea for any sort of social, psychological issues that people might be experiencing. So I'm very fortunate to work with people who are very emotionally aware and intelligent in the way that they speak to patients and include them in decision making. So it is a collaborative approach that we adopt. So that's something that we would address, talk to the patient very carefully, away from the surgeon in our psychology service, and then go back with them and advocate for them with the surgeon there to work out any treatment plans. But if that is not the issue, and it may be to do with anxiety and stress and feeling very self-conscious about how their lips look, and may not have a lot of experience or confidence in actually kissing somebody else, then we would, in our psychology service, we would look at that very carefully and maybe work out a sort of psychology type approach to help them to relax, physiologically relax, and be able to feel that kissing is part of a relationship. It's not a be-all in itself and all in itself. It should be part of a friendship that has gone further, and yes, it's an expression of affection. So that's how how we would approach that.
Excellent. And I suppose people just feeling that they can come and talk to the psychology service about this
Yes.
is really valuable
Yeah,
to know as well.
definitely.
Well, there we go. All about kissing this festive season. And didn't we look tanned back then?
I
That was
know.
August we recorded
Yeah,
that
that was back when we had sunshine, it was warm.
one.
Now look at the weather, it's raining and cold. Another fear that can make it difficult in that moment is the fear that you may be at a disadvantage if you perceive yourself to be inexperienced with intimacy. Luckily, our panel had some advice to help you manage those feelings too.
It was reported a few times on the survey by men and women that they never experienced intimacy or had sex. And it was a concern for some people that they may never experience intimacy because they've not participated in it when they were younger. Is it possible to be a late starter and still live a fulfilled sex life?
Absolutely. And again, on the flip side of what we were just talking about, the more liberal approach, there's also a very strong movement in our society to wait for the right partner. And again, that's reflected in some research that's been carried out recently. So there's no harm to resist and to go along with the tide. You can do things differently if you wish to. If you feel confident enough about saying no to a partner and just meeting people as friends, putting yourself in situations where you meet new people, so you have the opportunity to maybe find somebody you find very attractive, and then start developing a relationship with that individual if it's goes both ways. And there is there's I think for people with clefts, that's definitely something I've noticed actually in the people I see, that I think it's also reflecting what I was saying before about teenagers struggling and then coming out of that phase and being much more confident about things than their peers at the same age. And then also developing relationships at that point. When they're sort of early 20s, mid-20s, you can see relationships beginning to develop for the first time for them. Because they feel much more ready much more mature than they did before. So definitely, you don't have to feel under pressure to go along with your peers when you're younger necessarily.
Okay, it's a great video and podcast, that one, the one about kissing, sex, and intimacy, because it was a topic that came up a lot in the survey, and it was an interesting one because we didn't actually explicitly give you the option to talk about it, but a lot of people chose to put it in the extra comments to say that this is something that we feel quite isolated in.
Yeah.
And the irony was there were so many people who felt that way that there was clear demand for this. And it was one of our most popular clips.
Yeah.
This one.
I guess it's something that's not really you don't really talk about it a lot as well. It's one of them really uncomfortable situations where everyone knows it's a thing, but no one really wants to address it if you're not that comfortable in that area with intimacy anyway. So yeah, I think this podcast is definitely kind of getting the information out there where you can kind of watch it in your own home, in your own leisure, in your own comfort, where you don't actually have to say it, if that makes sense. So
yeah, I think it breaks down a lot of those taboos.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got to say, when I started this job, I never thought for a minute I'd be making a sex tape, but there we go. Moving swiftly along, one of the other things we know happens right across the population is that people take advantage of the Christmas break to start a family. Whether or not that's the intention is unclear, but we know it definitely happens because 9 months later in September it's the most popular month of the year to be born. So if you're planning on starting a family this holiday season, you'll be interested in our genetics discussion. Here's a clip.
Obviously we don't have control over our genetics. To some extent we may have some control over some of the environmental contributors to cleft. So to that end, can you please explain what the environmental or the known environmental factors for cleft are, and if there's anything that people can do to reduce the likelihood of their child having a cleft, and if so, at what point you recommend they do it?
We don't know an awful lot about either the genetic or the environmental factors involved in clefts occurring. We do know some of the environmental factors, like ladies who are insulin-dependent diabetics have got a higher risk of having a baby with a cleft. Similarly, ladies who have epilepsy and have to take certain anti-epileptic medications have got an increased risk of having a baby with a cleft. And in these situations, the lady with diabetes, if she sees her diabetic consultant and gets her control as good as possible prior to trying for a pregnancy, that would be important. And the ladies with epilepsy, if they see their epileptic consultant, and it may well be that they get changed on to another medication prior to pregnancy, or they may be reassured that the medication that they're on is one of the ones that's less likely to cause any problems. For other kind of problems that occur in newborn babies, we know about vitamins being involved, and there has been various theories that might be involved in clefts as well, but none of the studies have proven that conclusively at the moment. But we would suggest that any mother trying for a pregnancy takes folic acid to prevent other things like spina bifida occurring in the baby, and also the multivitamin tablet that's recommended for all pregnant women. And also just leading a healthy lifestyle, having a good balanced diet, getting exercise and fresh air, and just being as healthy as possible before trying for a pregnancy.
Does that go for the men as well?
It's not quite so important for the men, unfortunately. We can't say that because they don't actually carry the baby, so it's not so important. So men with epilepsy and diabetes don't have an increased risk of having a baby with a cleft.
Damn inequality.
I know.
If I was born with a cleft myself, is my child more likely to be born with a cleft than someone who has no history of cleft?
Unfortunately, yes. And again, that's because we know that genetic factors are involved, probably in some people and not in others, but because we can't pick out these people who have the genetic factors and those that don't, then we have to say to everybody who has a cleft that they would have an increased chance. So in most kind of developed countries' population, the chance of having a baby with a cleft lip, with or without a cleft palate, is about 1 in 700. And those having a baby with an isolated cleft palate, about 1 in 1500. It's a bit less common. So for somebody who's already got a cleft themselves, these figures change quite dramatically actually, and it goes up to a 1 in 50 chance. So of 50 couples where one of them's got a cleft, their chance of having a baby with a cleft is about 1 chance in 50. One of these couples would have a baby with a cleft. I quite often turn that round the other way and say that 49 out of the 50 are not going to have a baby with a cleft, and it sounds much more reassuring that way. So it's still a low risk 1 in 50, although it's higher than the population.
Again, another really popular clip, that one. I think because, again, it's a topic that we've all heard about, you know, we all kind of have heard bits and pieces about genetics, but to have it explained in such an accessible way that's so easy to, she's just brilliant.
She's so great, and I'm not great with genetics, but I can understand that as well. And having even because sometimes when you hear quite a topic like this, it can be very kind of academic, and some people say words that it's kind of like gibberish, like jargon.
Buzzwords, isn't it?
Yeah, basically, and you're like, what? It makes you even more confused than when you went in there. So the way that it's explained is so easy to understand that it is really good, and you kind of know what's going to happen and the next steps, and it was just so informative, that one.
Definitely. So I mean, as I say, if it's something that you're thinking about having children in the future and you're wondering about this sort of thing, do watch that entire clip. You will learn a lot.
Yeah, definitely. At Christmas time, it's a time of year that's centred around being with your friends and family. Of course, not everyone has that in their life, which can make Christmas quite a lonely, isolating time of year. What would you say to people in that position?
Well, I mean, I would say it's more common, I think, than you realise.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that there are all sorts of reasons why someone might be by themselves at Christmas. You know, that they may be working away from home, they may be, you know, away from their family for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think a lot of people do wind up spending Christmas away from family. I would remind yourself it is, at the end of the day, it is just another day.
Yeah.
You know, it's obviously, you know, a lot of people are getting together with family and stuff, but, you know, do what's right for you. As you were saying earlier, you know, like if you know, get a lot of enjoyment out of having a bath, go and have a bath. Treat yourself to these things, you know. go for a walk, make some nice food, have a drink.
Yeah.
You know, do whatever feels right for you. It's like we were saying earlier. There's no kind of set ways to behave.
No, definitely not.
You know, and equally, you know, that your community may be doing something, maybe putting something on that you can get involved with. You know, your friend group around you might extend an invitation, and all sorts of different things.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you've got none of that, just remind yourself it's just another day.
Yeah, and they're only a phone call away anyway, so you can always just pick up the phone and just even talk to anyone for, you know, 10 minutes. At least you know that you've, like, you know, spoken to someone, or if not, then again, that's still absolutely fine. But you won't, even if you do go out, you're going to see someone out as well. It's not going to be, you're the only one in the world, like as Kenny was saying, that is not celebrating Christmas with people. There is going to be other people out there as well. And yeah, so I went to New York last year, and I would not even know that it was Christmas Day, because everyone, I'm not even joking, goes out on Christmas Day. Central Park was absolutely heaving. I completely forgot, because it was just a normal day. And yeah, everyone does celebrate it differently.
Oh, what an amazing experience that would have been.
I know, so good.
Central Park, Christmas Day.
Yeah. Something we tend to do a lot at Christmas time is eating and drinking. A significant number of people told us in the survey that eating and drinking isn't always that easy. Can you tell us what difficulties adults who are born with a cleft may have with eating and drinking?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things that can happen for people who are born with a cleft when it comes to eating and drinking. Some of it can be physical, like your physical ability to eat or drink, and some of it can be psychological, like how you feel about your eating and drinking. So thinking about the physical side of things, which is probably in some ways the easier one to explain, you know, if you've still got a fistula, like a hole in the roof of your mouth, that food can collect in. There may be certain foods that you tend to avoid. Similarly, if your teeth are not as great as perhaps some other people's, that can also make chewing and biting a lot more difficult as well. And so you will usually know what foods you can and can't eat. And that can be really difficult when you're at you know, someone's house for Christmas dinner and they pulled out all the stops and, you know, made a delicious meal. And, you know, it's quite difficult to eat it. And that can lead into some of the psychological fears and anxieties around eating. I mean, I think generally in the general population, people don't generally like being watched as they're eating. I mean, I don't know about you, I never like being sat in a window.
Oh, I hate it.
Yeah, like particularly when you've got the menu right there.
Oh, I hate it, yeah. It is the worst thing ever. Because I'm such a messy eater as well, so if I miss my mouth or something, I always end up with my dinner on my clothes as well. So that's why I hate people watching me, because I'll get it down me.
Extra pressure, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of people feel as well, you know, in the cleft population and kind of, you know, the psychological thought of eating, in particular if you've got some of those physical things going on, you know, and like you might fear, one of the things people have reported is a fear of a kind of a loss of control, particularly where alcohol is involved, and where you might normally be able to control, you know, food and drink and coming down your nose or whatever. You may, after a few drinks, have less control of that, and that may be something that you're, you know, quite fearful of because you don't want to be embarrassed about it, understandably. What I would suggest is if you are particularly concerned about some aspect of your eating and drinking, be it physical or psychological or a bit of both, to make an appointment in the new year to go and see your cleft team about it, because they'll be able to talk you through the different options, even if it's more about talking about how you feel about eating and drinking. Is what they're there for, an incredibly valuable use of your time. That's what I recommend. We also spoke on Cleft Talk this year about jaw surgery, which is one of the biggest surgeries associated with cleft. We asked Arthur from Clapper's Adult Representative Committee to talk us through what those first few days of the recovery were like. Check this out. Yeah, can you tell us kind of what the first few days in the hospital and at home were like for you?
Yeah, so obviously I came in on the Thursday, had the operation, got discharged on the Saturday, so it was pretty quick turnaround. In terms of the procedure, yeah, I remember when I woke up, you know, I was in my room, felt slightly a bit delirious and around mind what's going on, but that only lasted for a short while. And also I remember there was a lot of soreness And I think my sister and my mum were with me, and the first question I asked them, I go, look, could you just bring a mirror?
Yeah.
I can always see myself straight away. And nothing else came to my mind, in terms of I just said, just show me a mirror. And the thing is, I couldn't really speak because obviously, so luckily there was an iPad and I just kind of wrote it down. But I felt so much fatigue that by the time I actually finished writing down what I did, I slightly just fell back asleep again, I kind of woke up. And you're like, okay, so then I think that was the first question that came to mind. In terms of ongoing kind of day-to-day activities, so when I was in hospital they also gave me painkillers on a regular basis and antibiotics as well, because also when there's a lot of scarring, you need to prevent the risk of infection. And in terms of diet, we talked about soft diets, also was unable to kind of chew, so 40 sips, which are really great drinks, and they kind of gave that to me, so I was kind of thinking on that pretty much for the whole day.
It's all bring it back.
They're really good.
Do you need them with cream?
It's a good bring you back.
They're like a whole meal replacement, aren't they?
Yes.
So you're getting lots of calories, really high calories, because we don't want you to be chewing at that stage. So
Yeah, and I remember like during lunch, I mean, you get the person come in, they go, would you like anything for lunch? And they kind of gave, there was soup on the menu, but even with that I was struggling. I just wasn't able to do it. Yeah. And I think, so then also I got home and then I had this cooling mask, which was given by Hyotherm, and that's Professor Hayes, who's the person who actually performed the surgery on me. It was something that he was trying out for his patients, and he said it's a really good device. So I actually started utilising it during my sleep. So when I needed to go to sleep, put the mask on. It was comfortable as well, it didn't really irritate.
and it's a cooling mask, isn't it?
It's a cooling mask, so it kind of helps with the swelling. And yeah, kind of first week or so, it's just pretty much soft diet. Kind of spending kind of how to utilise your time is pretty difficult, but kind of watching television. Staying active and mobile was the take-home message for me, because the nurse who actually first admitted me in, who actually performed all the general kind of checkups and everything, he did say, look, you need to ensure post-surgery if you can. Obviously, you need to rest and everything, but just try and get up on your feet as soon as possible, because you're already going to be in such a kind of low state anyway, so sitting on the couch all day won't help either. So kind of helped me with my recovery.
I know we've spoken about it a fair bit, and you've mentioned it there as well, but that tiredness element not to be underestimated really, because I remember as well, like people would come and see me in the hospital and I start talking to me, I just doze off, and it's like you feel you worry you're being really rude, and it's like and you've not got the normal facial expression either that you can give that to people, and it's I don't think I've quite experienced anything quite like that kind of tiredness that I just could not power through. I mean, another really good panel, that one. I particularly enjoyed that one, and I think the mixture of having Arthur with the health professionals as well worked incredibly well. And I think we came out of that thinking, gosh, we could talk for another hour to these guys about all sorts of things. But definitely, if orthodontic surgery or jaw surgery is something that is potentially in your pipeline, you're having to make some decisions about, or even if you've already made the decision, well worth checking out that panel, because it does have a lot of answers to questions that I think you all want to know.
It was a really good one to end on as well, because it's the whole series. They've all been really, really great. I think this one was probably my favourite, I think, out of all of them.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, they've all been a lot of fun.
Yeah, they've all been
amazing.
But, I think I think this is a really good one to end on, and all the information's out there as well, which is really great, and you can go back to any of these podcasts at any time, which is really good.
Exactly.
So.
And Cleft Talk has been a very fun thing to put together.
Great.
Also at times it's been a very busy and sometimes stressful thing to pull together. But we have had some lighter moments. It's actually been really lovely on this show to be able to show you that side of us as well, because we do have a lot of fun behind the scenes making these. Nicky, what have been some of the most awkward or memorable on or off camera moments
Yeah.
for you? Rebecca?
Yes, this is actually a really hard question because there's so many. I think that I want to say that a lot of little things that you guys didn't experience or didn't see because we kind of kept it off, and it was just a lot of them are to do with like even the preparation of all of it. So I'd probably say if I had to pick down to one moment, I would say when we were in Scotland recording. Oh god, I can't remember what one it was actually. Do you remember which?
Genetics
And treatment, that was
and
it.
We had a busy old day that day.
Yes, we packed so much in that day. I remember we got up at 5 a.m, didn't we, that morning? Got on that plane.
On to Heathrow and
Yeah. And I think as soon as we got to Scotland, we had to get the bus to where we were going to meet our panellists to do the panel discussion. And I was so tired at this point, I think I tried to get on the bus with my Oyster card, which obviously only works in London, and the bus driver was just looking at me and would not let me go, would not tell me anything, was literally just looking at me, and I was going bright red at this time, and I was like, oh my god, what the hell is happening? Why is it not happening? Why is it not letting me continue to go down the bus? And then, and then he said something like,
you need to tell me where you're going.
You said we're going. I was like, oh my god, I'm not actually in London anymore. I'm in Scotland. So I think that was a pretty awkward time, I would say, because then we had to get an actual bus ticket, which I haven't got in so long. I'm so used to living in London, just getting my Oyster card out, and just tapping it. That I didn't realise you actually had to give money into a bus driver and get a paper ticket. And what about you? So what was your favourite moment in the Cleft series this year?
I mean, I think probably off camera, one of my favourite moments was we were coming out of a training day, which was in a very fancy building.
It was very fancy.
Building, right in central London.
Yeah.
Anyway, they have a revolving door that goes round. As you know, I'm sure you've experienced it yourself. This was a particularly narrow revolving door. And me and Nicky were having a conversation as we were approaching said revolving door. The revolving door is clearly, on hindsight, designed to fit just one person. As we're having this conversation going through the store, rather than waiting for the next gap, I kind of just jumped in behind Nicky, and I think the most uncomfortable amount of distance between us. So you had to be there, but
it's very funny. I mean, I didn't realise as soon as I said carrying the conversation, I was thinking, alright, we'll just carry on as soon as we get out the door, and then Kenny behind me didn't even realise, said something, and then I looked at him, I was like, oh god, you're a bit close, aren't you? And we kind of fell out the door as well, because it was so tight, and then you were trying to keep up with how I was walking. So as soon as we got out, we were just like, oh god.
Dear.
You know, very cosy.
It was very cosy. I mean, on-camera moments, I think for me, one of the most head and hands moments for me was in Kissing, Sex and Intimacy panel. When I was trying to support our panellists in making the point that we all have things about ourselves that perhaps we feel are not our best asset, but that if you dig a little deeper and you look back and you'll find parts of you that actually you like. And for me, that generally is my eyes. So why in the panel I said that I thought I had a good set of feet, we'll never really know. I just remember the psychologist Julia on our panel that time, to see her making the mental note like, right, right, something.
As soon as she said that as well, I was trying to say something that would kind of make the situation a bit better. I just had absolutely nothing, so I was like, I can't, I don't know where to go from here.
It makes you badly lying.
I was like, why the hell did you say your feet?
Yeah, I know. So, ironically, that was the most awkward thing in the Kissing, Sex and Intimacy panel.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Well, for me, anyway. How about you, on camera moments?
Oh, okay. On the camera moments, I would probably say in our first kind of discussion, which was on self-esteem, with Amanda Bates and Jen, I think I said something, I can't remember what we're talking about now, but I think I came out with when I was trying to put my makeup on, I think I said, put my slap on or something, and I don't know, I haven't said that in so long as well. I don't know why I just came out with it. And they knew what I meant, but I think because they were a bit like, oh, okay, type thing. I was just, I don't know why I said that. I should have just said, put my makeup on, but I came out with put my slap on.
Oh, showbiz is hard, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh god, it's a tricky life we have to live. Being in front of the camera.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh, God.
So, one of the things people might consider with the extra time around Christmas is what treatment options are available to them and whether they should seek treatment privately or on the NHS. We asked the Team Scotland what you need to know. If I'm considering private treatment, will I receive better treatment compared to what is offered through the NHS?
You're looking at me, so I'll answer that one first. So I guess the answer is, from me, would be not necessarily, and I think you need to think about what you mean by better. So I would say that the most common reason people seek private treatment and would see the advantage that many people see is kind of time and accessibility and availability. So many people say that it is they have less waiting lists in terms of private treatment. But I've met people both who've been very happy with treatment they've received privately and people who've been very unhappy. So whilst I have met people who have been very happy with private treatment, not all the time. So it varies from case to case.
I think the key with private treatment is picking the person or team that you're seeing, and I think if you are looking to have treatment for cleft related issues, you need to seek out people who are cleft specialists, and then they should be able to offer you the appropriate treatment. You won't get better treatment seeing somebody privately than you would on the NHS. It's the same clinicians. What the private system often allows you to do is to pick when and where you're seen, and also negates issues around waiting lists, and they're particularly an issue for adult patients on cleft services. And the reality in the UK at the moment is there are significant waiting lists for adults being treated. So I think some people seek out private treatment to bypass that or to be able to treat it in a way that suits them. But I think the key is to pick your provider, and then you should have a high quality of care.
Sure, and I think we'll talk a bit more about that, because I think that is one of the things that people often do struggle with, is knowing where to turn to or how to know, whether someone's got the relevant experience to be able to help them. I'm going to come to you for this next question, David, but what further treatment generally is available, and what sorts of things might I consider returning to treatment for in adulthood?
Okay, I think adults return to treatment for a variety of reasons. If I covered sort of the main sort of areas of that, I think historically a lot of patients, when they finished their cleft pathway, when they became adults, were then sort of told there was nothing more that could be done, or that was the end of it, and that there was no more further treatment available. Particularly patients who are older, if patients who are in their 40s, 50s, definitely were told that. And of course then cleft services didn't exist as the way they do now. I think the key things that patients come back to me and to cleft service to see us about are issues around the appearance related to their lip or their nose or their facial appearance, issues around their teeth, either the appearance of their teeth, or some adults will have things like dental plates that obturate holes in their palates, and as they lose teeth and change as they grow and grow older, then they become an issue, and it's very difficult to find people who can look after those. And some patients return with issues around their speech and things that hadn't been addressed historically or have changed again with age, or their social circumstance. For example, I had a grandmother who came because of poor speech, because her grandchildren couldn't understand her when she was on the phone. There's a variety of reasons why people come. And I think any of those issues, and also then the issues around psychology and things as well, patients can return for any of those reasons. They're all valid reasons to return.
Excellent. And just to pick up on that a bit, Jess, obviously from the psychology side, because a number of people watching or listening to this may not be familiar with psychology as part of a Cleft team.
No, absolutely.
And
So yeah, what sorts of things psychologically might someone return for in adulthood?
So like with all the other answers we've given, there's a wide variety. I would say that something we see very commonly for people is kind of feeling a bit socially anxious, so anxious around other people. Usually that's about other people maybe noticing difference in how somebody looks or how somebody sounds. So lots of people speak to us about issues like that. We also provide a lot of support about decision making in surgery, so if people aren't sure, or other treatment as well, not just surgery, so even for decisions about dentistry, things like that. Sometimes people are presented with options and they're not sure which way to go with them, so we support around that. And actually there are issues that we'll link with other people about, so for some people there's actually quite a lot of interest that we've discovered since we started doing our initial adult appointments here in Scotland in genetics, and people wanting to know about what the chances are of them having a child with a cleft. So there's lots of psychological and social aspects that people return for. And I guess the other big one in terms of psychological support is we speak to a lot of people about what difference it is they're expecting that a surgery or any other kind of treatment will make in their lives, because we want to make sure that somebody's expectations of what the surgery will do for them or the treatment will do for them is in line with what we would expect it to do with them for treatment. So that's another big part of our input on the adult team.
Oh, again, that's another really, really good one as well. And it's all about further treatment, kind of where to go as well. I think mainly for that one, to get extra information about that, because it is a really big decision as well to make by yourself. So that one was really, really good.
Definitely. And I think a lot of that, like knowing that you can go to the Cleft team even if you're considering private treatment, and to get their opinion and advice, and that they'll treat you in good faith if you do that as well. I think is a really important take-home message out of that one. Is to not feel that they're going to judge you for looking at your options, because remember the day with your healthcare, you want to be absolutely sure that you're getting the best service, most appropriate thing that's available for you. That doesn't just go for Cleft, that's anything.
Absolutely.
Now Nicky, obviously we're coming into Christmas, thick and fast, just a few days away now. And we've spoken about some of the I suppose the more difficult sides of Christmas, but there's a lot of positives about Christmas. A lot of people will definitely be really looking forward to the Christmas break and the festivities. What's your favourite thing about Christmas time?
My favourite thing about Christmas time is definitely the food. I'm such a big foodie. So all of the Christmas biscuits that you get, the cheese, oh my god, it's so good. Crackers, like all of that stuff, I do love. And I think having that break as well, going back home to kind of the country, getting out of the city. I think for me that'd be quite a big thing, because the city's great, but it can be sometimes really, really busy. So I think having that break away, just so I can have relaxing time, seeing everyone back home, and then just being with family, and I think it's really fun. I think everyone loves a good Christmas. It's just a great excuse to have a drink, really, isn't it, as well?
I mean, I think for me, like, my favourite thing about Christmas time is like the kind of lead up to it as well. It's lovely where everybody, there's all the lights. And,
that's really nice.
Everybody's in a good mood, everybody's really happy and kind and friendly. And just, spending time with the people who are important to you as well. Not only on Christmas Day, but in the lead up as well. I think
that is really exciting.
It's really, that's for me what Christmas is all about. It's lovely.
And having all like the Christmas movies as well, and like hot chocolate, and getting all wrapped up nice and warm, and going outside and seeing the Christmas lights, and doing a bit of Christmas shopping. I love once you've got all your Christmas shopping as well, come back home and wrapping all of that. I find that bit really exciting as well.
And the picking stuff out for people. I really enjoy that aspect of Christmas shopping. It's like trying to figure out what am I going to get for people that kind of lets them know what they mean to me. And and of course the Christmas music.
Christmas music.
Like it or loathe it, it's there to stay, isn't it? And you know every word of it, whether you want to or not. For you, Nicky, what's your favourite Christmas song?
I think for me, my favourite Christmas song is definitely Driving Home for Christmas.
That's a good one.
I love that one. I can't remember who sings it as
Chris
well.
Rea, I believe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Driving home for Christmas.
Yeah, I love it. Because I've seen it on so many movies as well. But it just brings back really warm and comforting feelings. So I love it. What about you?
Yeah, no, a great choice. I think that's a good. I always kind of conjures up, kind of like. It was like just sitting in the car, like with the the heating on, like all wrapped up, and
and it's snowing outside.
I think for me, probably Fairy Tale in New York would be.
That is
one of my
another good one.
favourites. I was gonna say it's a classic. You know all the words. A lot of fun.
That is a really good one. Always good at the end of the night, really, that one in there.
It certainly is. No, we won't go there.
No, we won't go there.
We won't do a duet for you on Talking, so we'll spare you from that.
Maybe not next series. Who knows?
The DVD edition.
Stay tuned for more, guys.
You donate enough money for Cleft to do a duet.
Please don't.
For your own sake, Nicky, what was 2019 meant for you? What have been, to use your phrase, the peaks and fits?
That is a famous phrase from Nicky Davis. So let's start with the pits. So
we'll go back to front.
So my pits is probably because I've been so busy, I haven't really had that time to myself. So I would say probably making time to myself to go away and just to go and enjoy the sunshine.
Have that
a little
bath.
bit. Have that bath, exactly. Because I think I've only really had about a 2-week break this week. Only.
This week or this year?
Oh, sorry.
You can tell she's only had
this year.
2-week break this year, she's knackered.
No. Sorry, this year. So I think next year I'm definitely going to take some more holidays, take some chill out time. And
I like that. Your pit of the year has been being at work. Oh god, you said that, not me. And my peak, I'd probably say, is probably starting my masters. So I started my masters in October, and then I'm in international development. And that's been really new and exciting. So that's been really, really great. Just learning something brand new, and so that's all been really good. But what about you? What's your peak? I'll follow your lead. We'll start with the pit. I think for me that the pit has been being so far away from home. And away from family and some of my other friends. And I think one of the hard things. Has been that obviously I've now got friends on both sides of the world, and it's hard because you can't see everybody all at once. I think for me, undoubtedly the peak of this year has been the relationships I continue to establish, people that I've got to meet and get to know has been awesome. It's I feel very privileged at Kappa that we work with such a great group of people, not only internally but also our external partners as well, many of which have helped with this project. The passion, dedication and kindness of those people has been a real peak for me.
That's a really, really good one, because we couldn't have done it without everyone that we've got involved, like external and the Kappa staff as well. We couldn't have done it without you guys, so that is a good one. Well done. Very thoughtful, that one. There's a lot that's gone on behind the scenes to make Cleft Talk happen, yet all the while on the recording it seems perfectly calm. Some of our die-hard fans who listen to both the podcast and watch a movie may have noticed in episode 3, Friendships and Romantic Relationships, that there is a bit of a difference between the two versions. Shall we come clean and explain what happened there?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're quite right. Some of our die-hard fans who watch both the video and the podcast, thanks Mum, will have noticed there is a discrepancy in episode 3. And it is because partway through recording episode 3, you looked up and were like, really sorry to interrupt, the camera's gone off. And so we'd gone for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was a long time.
With the camera having run out of battery.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I take my hat off to the people on that panel. They were great sports about this.
Amazing.
As we re-recorded and did take 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, we found, and you know what it's like, every time you do something a second time round, because you lost it the first time round, never quite as good.
No, it's really hard, to do.
And so we've managed to keep the audio recording.
Yeah.
So we decided to use the audio of the first one, seeing as we had that, felt was a little bit better. But then obviously the re-recorded video of the second one. So yeah.
And thank God we noticed halfway through. Imagine we gone. It could have been a lot worse. Imagine we went through the whole of that panel discussion without even noticing that half of it hadn't even been recorded.
No, definitely. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Now, similarly, those who watched the videos right to the end may have noticed a little surprise in our outro video. About halfway through the video, a man can be seen walking across the set. Despite this very obvious blooper, this take was the best of around about 10 takes that we did. Now, Nicky, my dear friend and colleague, do you mind telling our audience why we couldn't use any of the other takes?
I think we just could not even speak. We were laughing so much. We could not even carry on recording, because it was so funny, because at that point we were doing so well, and then we just saw this random guy, caretaker, just walk behind, and I think at that point we just lost it, didn't we?
We did.
And we couldn't even carry on.
Every subsequent take was we would do so.
Yeah.
So in the end, we had to roll with it.
Yeah, and this was in the still in our office, but on the kind of like breakout space that we have. And it was, so we were moving all of the sofa, didn't we, to make like a little studio. And it was so funny, because then all the other things that happened around that was the guy walking across, and I'm pretty sure something fell on the floor as well halfway through.
Yeah, all sorts of things happened.
Yeah.
And in fact, as we say, all the while things have appeared perfectly calm, but we've had a few bloopers over the year. We would like to share them with you now, some of our bloopers from the first series of Cleft Talk. Enjoy those. Whenever you're ready. If it's interesting, make sure you subscribe to our podcasts and videos.
Our next podcast and video. Sorry. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in.
So go and give the video and podcast a like, and if you're watching the video, comment below to let us know what you think. If this was interesting, make sure...
Our next podcast and video is coming up at the end of
So go ahead and give the video and podcast a like, and if you're watching the video, comment below to let us know what you think. If this was interesting, make sure you subscribe to our podcasts and videos.
Sorry. I got starstruck and I was like, I can't say, the words are coming out.
To take to the panel, visit our panel discussion page on our website to submit your questions.
And also, hey guys, thanks for tuning in. We want to know what you thought of the programme so that we can make it even better for the next one.
So go ahead.
Oh no! Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. We want to know what you thought of the programme so we can make it even better for the next one.
So go ahead and give the video and podcast a like, and if you're watching the video, comment below to let us know what you think. If this was interesting, make sure you subscribe to our podcasts and videos.
Our next Our next podcast and video is coming up at the end of the month. Check out. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. We want to know what you thought of the programme so that we can make the next one even better.
So go ahead and give the video or podcast a like and comment below to let us know what you think.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. We want to know what you thought of the programme so that we make the next one even better.
So go ahead and give the video or podcast a like and comment below to let us know what you think. If you found this programme interesting, please make sure you subscribe to our podcasts and videos.
Oh my god, I just saw the arm go on.
You can also check out everything we're up to with the Adult Services Project, including a list of our previous programmes and upcoming events at www.clapper.com/Adult Services Project.
You can also check out everything we're up to. Stop that line. Sorry. You can also follow Clapper on Twitter and see my voice is gone.
Go ahead and give the video or podcast a like and comment below to let us know what you think. If you found this programme interesting, please make sure you subscribe to our podcasts and videos. You knew that was coming.
Sorry. I just saw it go down. Oh, he's made his move. That's the move.
Go ahead and give the video or podcast a like and comment below to let us know what you think. If you found this programme interesting. If you found this programme interesting, please make sure you subscribe to our podcasts and videos.
You can...
I forgot. So go ahead and give the podcast or video a like. If you found this programme interesting, please make sure you subscribe to our podcasts and videos. Sorry. What was that? So go ahead and give the video or podcast a like and comment below to let us know what you think. If you found this programme interesting... We'll start again.
Every time you do something different, it's like the pointing or the thumbs up.
What was that?
What was it? Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. We want to know what you thought of the programme so we can make the next one even better.
So go ahead and give the video... I mean, that didn't work. Were we really just going to carry on through that?
I was going to try. Oh. And cut. Oh, that's great. Oh, it's so good.
We've had some fun, haven't we?
I loved it. Oh, that was so funny.
Oh dear.
Oh god. Yeah, it's taken us a while to do some of it as well, hasn't it? Because once one thing happens,
I know, we set each other off. It's like, have you ever seen Philip Schofield and Hollywood and Beyond? This morning programme is a bit like that. And that's nearly the end of the show. The end of the series. It is. And another year of Clapper's Adult Services Project. What a year it has been. I am very grateful to our external collaborators at the NHS and the Centre for Appearance Research for all that they have put into this project so far, and will continue to do so. But also a huge thank you to the Clapper team. This is my last Cleft Talk episode. Cleft Talk will be back, but with somebody else in the co-driver's seat here with Nicky. Although I've often been the one who has had the privilege of getting to come out and meet you, there is a whole team at Clapper behind the scenes who make this happen. Our regional team, who are your local point of contact, our office and management team, who help put all the infrastructure of the project in place and help promote what we're up to and build momentum. And of course, my partner in crime, Nicky. To all of you, I say thank you. It's been an incredible couple of years. Thank you for backing this world-first project and for believing in it. I hope that we've shown that your support was well placed. But for now, for us, for the first season of Cleft Talk, that's a wrap. So thank you very much to all of our amazing panel guests who have joined us over the year and shared their expertise. Thank you to you at home for joining us for this journey. It has been our pleasure to bring you these discussions each month. We hope you found them interesting. As always, remember that you can access more information and listen again to this and other panel discussions featured in this programme on our website at www.clapper.com/Adult Services Project. If this discussion has made you want to find out more information on any of the topics that we've covered this year, then please do contact your Cleft team, which are all on our website, and they'll be able to support you. You can also watch all of the panel discussions again online, as we've said, and contact Clapper with any questions that you have. But from Nikki and me for now, goodbye and Merry Christmas.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. We want to know what you thought of the programme so that we can make the next one even better.
So go ahead and give the video or podcast a like and comment below to let us know what you think. If you found this programme interesting, please make sure you subscribe to our podcasts and videos.
You can watch this and other panel discussions again on our website at www.clapper.com/clefttalk.
You can also check out everything we're up to with the Adult Services Project, including a list of our previous programmes and upcoming events at www.clapper.com/Adult Services Project.
You can also follow Clapper on Twitter and Facebook. We hope you've enjoyed this series of Cleft Talk. Bye for now.
Bye.